Your services are no longer required, Lana declared, her voice echoing across the mahogany table in our family's boardroom. Clear your office by tomorrow. Around me, board members raised their brows, executives fidgeted in leather chairs, and my sister wore the smug smile she'd been saving for years. Is that all? I asked, keeping my voice even though anger simmered beneath. Yes, Valerie, that will be all, she replied, already moving on to the next agenda item. I collected my notepad and pen, nodded to the board, and left with my head held high. The heavy door closed behind me with a muted click, far too quiet for what had just happened. I'd been fired from Connors and Tate Solutions, the family business I had helped transform from a struggling regional logistics firm into a national powerhouse. My name is Valerie Connors, 43 years old, and until 10 minutes ago, I was Executive Vice President of Operations at the company my grandfather built. For over a decade, I had secured contracts, cultivated client relationships, and structured the deals that generated most of our revenue. While Lana polished the company's image and played politics with the board, I kept the engine running in Nashville. I headed to my corner office, a space I had earned the hard way. My assistant, Natalie, looked up, concern flashing across her face. Val, what happened in there? I shut the door before answering. Lana fired me, effective immediately. I need to clear out tomorrow. Natalie's jaw dropped. She can't do that. Without you. She can, and she did. I dropped into my chair, letting the shock hit for just a moment before my mind started spinning again. Dad made her CEO, and the board signed off. It's her show now. But why? You brought in more than 70% of our clients. I gave a faint smile. Exactly. I've outshined her for years, and she's never forgiven me for it. But beneath the sting of betrayal, calm settled in. I opened my desk drawer and pulled out a leather portfolio I'd been preparing for this day. Inside were contracts, agreements, legal documents, my contingency plan. Natalie, I said, voice steady now, remember that restructuring I did 5 years ago, when I set up VC Strategy Group? Her eyes widened. Your consulting firm, the one that technically holds all the client contracts. I nodded, a real smile breaking through at last. It's time to remind my sister who actually drives this business. I had seen this coming. Our father, James Connors, had always favored Lana despite her limited instincts. She had the look, the connections, and, most importantly, she never challenged him. I did. I had too many ideas for a daughter in a traditional family business. You're making waves, Val, Dad would say whenever I pushed for innovation. Stick with what works. What worked, apparently, was letting Lana take credit. While I built relationships with shippers and warehouses, Lana posed for industry events. While I negotiated deals that doubled profit margins year after year, Lana presented my numbers to the board. It had been that way since childhood. Lana was the beauty queen, the sorority president, the one Mom always praised for her charm. I was the problem solver, the one who preferred logistics puzzles to cocktail parties. Why can't you be more like your sister? Mom would ask. She never understood that I built connections too, just in boardrooms instead of ballrooms. And in time, clients trusted me more than the polished brand or Lana's rehearsed smile. So when succession whispers started 5 years ago, I acted. With my attorney's help, I launched VC Strategy Group, an LLC with one client, Connors and Tate. On paper, it looked like a tax strategy. In truth, it was my escape hatch. This gives us flexibility, I'd told Dad. I can negotiate directly with clients without all the corporate red tape. He approved it, not realizing what it really meant. Over the years, I shifted every major contract to my firm. The paperwork was there, if anyone cared to look, but Lana was too busy redecorating her office to notice that Connors and Tate had become little more than a subcontractor. When Dad announced his retirement last month, the succession plan was revealed, Lana as CEO, me as operations workhorse. Or so they thought. The morning after my dismissal, I arrived early to pack my office. The building was quiet. Most employees weren't due for another hour. I had chosen this time deliberately, no audience, no distractions. As I boxed up family photos and awards, my phone buzzed. Beth Winters from Skyline Distribution, our largest client, was calling. Valerie, what's going on? I just got a strange email from your sister saying she's my new point of contact. I smiled. Good morning, Beth. Yes. There have been some changes. Lana is the new CEO. But our agreement is with you, Beth said, confusion clear in her voice. The contract is with VC Strategy Group. Does she understand that? I don't think she's reviewed the contracts yet, I said evenly. Do you want me to clarify things with her? Please, we signed with you, not Connors and Tate. Your expertise is what we're paying for. I hung up and continued packing, now with a lighter heart. By the time I finished, similar calls had come in from 3 other major clients. None of them intended to work with Lana. At 8:30, as the office began to fill, my phone lit up with Lana's name. I let it ring twice before answering. Hello, Lana. Where are the client files? Her voice trembled with forced composure. And why is Beth Winters saying she won't work with us anymore? The client files are where they've always been, organized by account in the shared drive. As for Beth, she's exercising her contractual rights. What contractual rights? I pictured her in her pristine CEO office, probably in one of her tailored suits, face flushed with frustration. Check the contract headers, Lana. All major accounts are contracted through VC Strategy Group, my consulting company. Connors and Tate is just the fulfillment partner. The clients chose to work with me, not the family brand. Silence. Then, you can't do this. I laughed softly. I already did, 5 years ago, with Dad's approval and the board's signature on every document. This is sabotage, she hissed. No, Lana, this is business. You wanted to be CEO, congratulations, but the relationships, the trust, the actual revenue-generating contracts, those are mine. Natalie appeared at my door, holding a box of her belongings. I quit this morning, she said, smiling, told HR I'm joining VC Strategy Group effective immediately. The realization hit me. This wasn't just revenge, it was a chance to build something truly mine. I picked up my box and looked around the office where I'd spent 15 years. Let's go, I said, we have a company to build. By evening, I had confirmed every major client, 14 top-tier accounts, representing over 80% of Connors and Tate's revenue, would follow me. What about fulfillment? Thomas Graham from Evergreen Supply Chain asked. You've got relationships, Val, but can you handle the logistics? I've anticipated this, I assured him. I've secured partnerships with 3 regional fulfillment centers. Operations won't miss a beat. What I didn't tell him, the agreements had been finalized that afternoon in a flurry of calls. I was building the airplane while flying it. By 9 p.m., my dining table was a battlefield of legal pads, laptops, and an empty pizza box. I had clients, Natalie, and a framework, but no team. As if on cue, Jordan Ellis, our former operations manager, texted. Heard what happened, Lana's freaking out, half the ops team is ready to walk, you hiring? Another text arrived, Lana. Emergency board meeting tomorrow, 8 a.m., your presence is required. I laughed. Required? She had fired me hours ago. I texted Jordan, send me names, everyone interested, competitive packages for all. To Lana, I wrote, attorney will attend. Her call came immediately. This isn't a request, Valerie, the board wants an explanation. I don't owe anyone anything, I said evenly, you fired me, your words. That was before I understood the contracts. The contracts that had been in place for 5 years, approved by Dad and the board. You deliberately misled everyone. No, Lana, I created a structure protecting both the company and the clients. It's on you if you never bothered to understand how our business operates. Dad will never forgive you for this. Perhaps, but unlike you, I can live without his approval. Good luck tomorrow. I sat for a moment, letting the day sink in. My LLC hadn't been a weapon, it was a shield against family politics. A text from Dad appeared, we need to talk. I ignored it. Tonight, I focused on building a company with clients already expecting service. I typed the first line of a new business plan. VC Strategy Group, full-service logistics solutions. It had a nice ring. The next morning, Jordan sent a list of 8 employees ready to join immediately. My attorney, Grace Levinson, was on her way to the Connors and Tate board meeting. By 8 a.m., I was in a temporary office, leading my first staff meeting as CEO of VC Strategy Group. The situation is unique, I told the team. We have clients and expertise, but we're building infrastructure on the fly. It won't be easy, but we've got something Connors and Tate doesn't, the relationships that matter. Natalie and Jordan nodded confidently. The others, mostly analysts and account managers, looked nervous but determined. Michael Perez, a logistics specialist, asked, what about warehouse contracts? Connors and Tate has exclusivity in the region. They do, I said, We're routing through partnerships in Chattanooga and Louisville until we establish our own presence. Grace joined via speakerphone. The board meeting ended, she reported. Lana tried to argue your LLC breached fiduciary duty, she wanted legal action. And? The board shut her down. 2 members had read the contracts and confirmed their approval. The structure delivered exceptional results for 5 years. So, no lawsuit? No, but they authorized a counteroffer, formalizing VC Strategy Group as a permanent contractor with a 5-year commitment. Essentially, better terms for the arrangement you already had. I wasn't sure whether to laugh or scream. They fired me, and then offered to hire my company. Essentially, yes, the offer is solid, 7 figures annually, guaranteed minimums, performance bonuses. They're desperate, Val. Of course, they just lost 80% of their revenue overnight. I looked around at my team, all eyes on me. Tell them I'll review the proposal, but in the meantime, we're continuing direct client relationships. After ending the call, I turned back to them. Seems we have options. Are you considering it? Jordan asked. His concern was understandable. He'd just quit to join me. They all had. I'm not considering anything that doesn't include all of you, I said, but having Connors and Tate as a client rather than an employer could be advantageous while we build our own operations. A courier arrived with a thick envelope, the board's formal offer. Inside was a handwritten note from Dad. You've outplayed us all. I should have made you CEO years ago. Emotions churned, recognition, vindication, and the bitter truth that my value had only been acknowledged once I proved I could topple the company. Then my phone buzzed, a text from Lana. This isn't over. Of course it wasn't. Lana never accepted defeat gracefully, but for the first time, I wasn't worried. I had the clients, a growing team, leverage. The following weeks were grueling. Building a company from scratch while servicing existing clients demanded 14-hour days. Our temporary office a chaotic command center. Mornings began with all-hands meetings. Evenings ended with meticulous reviews. Exhausting, but necessary. 3 weeks in, I finally reviewed the board's offer with Grace. This is aggressive, she said, scanning my counterproposal. You're asking for double plus 5% equity in Connors and Tate. I clarified enough to have a voice, not enough to trigger resentment. I explained. Grace leaned back. Val, can I be blunt? This feels personal. Of course it's personal. They're family. That's not what I mean. It feels like proving a point rather than making the best business decision. Her words stung. Was I pushing too far? The initial offer was generous. Doubling it might be excessive. You're right, I admitted. Revise it to a 20% increase. Equity intact. Fair value for what we bring. Grace nodded. Much better. What about your sister? She's been unusually quiet. I'm meeting her tomorrow, just the 2 of us. Want me there? No, some conversations need no lawyers. The next day, we met at a small coffee shop. Lana was already seated, expression unreadable. You look tired, she said. Building a company is exhausting, I replied. You'd know if you'd ever done it. She didn't take the bait. I've been thinking about your LLC setup. Enlighten me. You never trusted us, not me, Dad, or the board, always your own safety net. I considered her. Trust must be earned. Dad overlooked my contributions while elevating yours. You took credit for my work. What was I supposed to trust? We're family, she said, as if that explained everything. Family businesses fail when loyalty outweighs sense. Dad made you CEO because you're his daughter, not the best candidate, and I created a company to protect my clients and my work. You're ruthless, Val. This stunt proves it. You'd burn the company to prove a point. Her words hit harder than expected. I didn't burn anything, I said softly. You lit the match when you fired me. I'm just making sure I don't get consumed in the flames. We stared across the table, decades of sisterly competition distilled into one moment. So, what happens now? She asked. That was the million-dollar question. 3 months later, I stood in the lobby of Kovnir Defense, our newest client. Their contract would push VC Strategy Group's revenue past $40 million, nearly double what we managed at Connors and Tate. Impressive operation, said Edward Hughes, their procurement director, and without family drama, I hear? Every company has its evolution story, I said, smiling professionally. Later, I returned to our permanent offices, a renovated warehouse with exposed brick, open workstations, and client-named meeting rooms. In 3 months, We'd grown from 8 employees to 23. Jordan greeted me. Connors and Tate accepted our counterproposal. We're now their primary logistics partner for 3 years. I felt satisfaction, vindication, and a tinge of melancholy. Have they announced it internally? I asked. Tomorrow, Lana will have to explain that they're subcontracting core business to her sister. That can't be easy for her. From what I hear, she fought it until the board gave her an ultimatum: accept or resign. I sighed. She won't forgive me. Do you care? Jordan asked. I care, I admitted, but not enough to sacrifice what we're building. 6 months in, Dad requested lunch at his favorite steakhouse. He was older, worn from the company's near collapse. You look good, Val, he said. Success suits you. I owe you an apology, he said, surprising me. I should have made you CEO years ago. You mean several? I asked. Blinded by tradition, the oldest child inherits. Regardless of ability, you outmaneuvered all of us. I'm not sure whether to be angry or impressed. Both, I said with a small smile. The board is considering restructuring. They want to bring you back, not just your company, but you as CEO. And Lana? She'd transition to CMO, but she'd only accept if you two find a way to work together. I wasn't sure that was possible. As I left our headquarters on a crisp autumn evening, 35 employees strong, multi-million-dollar contracts in hand, including Connors and Tate, I couldn't help but smile. Betrayal had become opportunity, and the sweetest part? My sister's attempt to sideline me had inadvertently given me the empire I was always meant to lead.